and welcome again to Over the Hill and Into the Wild. This is Denisa, me, and my buddy Bess. She is a creative extraordinaire with all the media you can imagine, and has agreed to go hiking with me today because she trusts that I know something about the woods. Bess, you want to introduce yourself? Whoops!
Hello, my name is Bess Taylor, and I just do all kinds of stuff. I don't know. I do what I want, basically, is what I do, and then I learn a lot of stuff that way. So,
But you're retired, so you can do that, right?
oh yeah, but I even did that before I was retired because I was freelance. So anything I was interested in, I would sort of go after, and I learned a lot of stuff. But you know, like jack of all trades, master of none,
Or Jill.
or
Well,
we don't want to talk about that.
all right. Well, we're going to head out here in just a minute or so. First, I'm going to do a little review of how we're kitted out today. So I'm going to set this down for a second right here where you can see the pack. Now, it's a little bit cooler today, so I did bring a bit of a little puff jacket. I've got the requisite water on my body. I've got the knife. Gotta have the knife. Gotta have the knife. And of course I've got ID, but that's just because. Nice lightweight pack. So I've got the pack, same pack as I had last time, some snacky poos,
Let's eat them now.
and some more snacky poos, and the e-bag that I showed you last time. Doesn't take much weight, but it's really essential even if you're going to go out for just an hour or so to be prepared. Nice little foil emergency blanket, compass, straw. Straw really helps in a lot of ways, but mostly to help get a fire started if you need at least one form of fire. Some more waterproof matches, duct tape, always your friend, and your emergency whistle. These are the basics you should always take. Should weigh less than a pound, so it's no big deal when you're on a little hike out. Just to make sure you can take care of yourself, and even if the bad thing happens, you're not a victim, you're still a subject. So, Bess, how are you kitted out today?
Well, I have this fabulous little knife that Denisa has loaned me, which folds up. It's goes like this and that, and that way, if a bear attacks, you know, it'll take me 15 minutes to figure out how to do it.
And to pick his teeth for him.
And to pick his teeth, whatever he wants, he can have. So that is what I have kitted out with me. But I also have my phone, and I have my purse with all kinds of handy things in there.
All right.
That are
This is just a little
bandages and whatnot.
And up in Virginia, on this Bull Run Trail. And what do you know about this, Bess? Why did you choose this today?
Well, it's close to my home, and it has several trails of various lengths and challenges.
Mm-hmm.
And
okay, mind the rails.
Mind the rails. And this particular area has a very nice ranger lodge with really neat programs for adults and children. So
fun.
When my daughter was young, we would come up and do these things.
Oh wow!
Every once in a while.
But oh my goodness, is this beautiful?
Isn't it?
It really is.
So there are trails that are sort of flat, but you can also go up on the mountain, and apparently there's a great view up there, but I've never quite made it up that very challenging climbing one.
Oh my goodness, look at this vine. Look at this vine. That is a vine. That is not a tree. That's an actual vine going up the tree. Oh my goodness. So have you always lived here?
No, I grew up in the suburbs of Washington, D.C., and we had a woods behind our house. Mm-hmm. But, you know, it was, you know, there are airplanes flying overhead all the time. And then later on I lived in in the city of Washington, D.C. and ran around and had a great time as a young adult.
That was when you were a local punk rock star, right?
Yep. I wouldn't call myself a star, but I went and had a lot of fun with the scene at that time.
So a minor local party animal.
Yes, but no minor threat.
Right. And you were not a minor. You were actually of age.
I was of age by that time, yes.
Okay.
I'd done some living by then.
Well, we've all done some living now, haven't
Yeah,
we?
we have. Whew.
But, as I said last time, that's what happens to the winners.
I liked that. I like that a lot. That is really, that makes a lot of sense.
Well, it's, I've had that pointed out to me a number of times now, that it's better than the alternative.
Yes. Oh, look at these.
Oh yeah, I was looking at those beautiful, I'm going to switch the camera around again. Come down here and look at these. Incredible.
I'm not sure whether...
Oh my God, they're so tiny and so beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh look, there's another. Look, this one's pink. Okay, I'm not going to squirrel on every little flower there is today, but my goodness, that one's just tiny.
I think it's white.
Is it white? It's got a little bit of a pink tinge
It
to it.
does. Towards the center, it's got, almost looks a little pinky. I'll have to look up what those are.
The things that you stop and wonder at.
You get to a point where you can stop listening to the junk going on in your mind. Because you're listening for woodpeckers and whatever else, the birds
Chipmunks.
singing.
I just heard a chipmunk behind
Did
us. I did. It was right down on this log.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that neat?
As we get further up this trail, we'll get further away from the noise and hubbub of the highway. I think I forgot to lock the car, but oh well. There's nothing in there worth stealing anyway. And we're just gonna trust the good karma of the universe to see us through today, right?
That's right.
Every now and then you just gotta say, well, I'm just gonna trust that the good thing's gonna happen today because it's out of my hands.
You know, and that's another good thing to learn. You know, I think when you're younger, you think you have to control everything.
Uh-huh.
And sometimes you just can't.
So you've done a lot of art and done a lot of painting and drawing and poetry. What does this sort of an environment evoke for you, or does it?
It invokes just sort of mental space and room to think clearly.
Clearly
Is that
among
what you meant?
the density of the leaves, yes. Yeah. No, I like the air here. It just feels cleaner.
It does.
And the sunlight just dappled through the leaves.
Yeah.
And see that behind us, isn't that cool? If you look look there. Isn't that neat?
What are you looking at?
I'm looking at the screen.
Oh. We are neat, aren't we? My goodness, we're amazing. Look at these trees that are sort of
And the light coming through on
upside
the
down or something.
poplars and sycamores and here's an eastern pine and a place where some nice trail maintenance person has come through and cut the deadfall out of this beautifully maintained trail. So, as I was saying earlier, the most important thing when you're getting out into the wilderness is just to tell somebody where you're going and when to expect your home. Because even if you go out, you just say, hey, that's a cool trail, I'm going to stop and explore it. Something happens, you twist your ankle, whatever. As long as you have told somebody where you are and when to expect you home, or when to expect a text message from you saying you're back at the trailhead and all safe and sound, you should be at least one step ahead. And again, don't sweat it too much if you aren't going more than a mile or so away from your car, or maybe 2 or 3 miles depending on your level of fitness, as long as you use your buddy system. You don't have to necessarily be prepared like I am to stay out for 6 weeks and survive on, you know, small chipmunks and bird droppings.
I was thinking that block of cheese didn't look that big.
Well,
We could portion it.
we can ration ourselves.
Listen to how quiet it's gotten.
Yes,
We really can't hear the road anymore.
suddenly.
And it's just the trees, it's buffered.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Wow. This is just amazing. So is there a particular place that you tend to hike to on this trail?
I haven't been on this trail in a really long time. I was telling you before, my daughter and I came up. They have a program every Halloween that is called the Halloween Safari, and they ask people to dress up as an animal and do a little research and write a little script and do a little presentation
Oh, how fun.
at different points on the trail. Actually, I think we were on the higher trail because Hannah and I decided bobcats, and we sat up there in the dark and waited for the groups of tours to come up at night, you know, flashlight. It was really fun. And we made up a little skit. She was the baby bobcat and I was the mama bobcat.
Oh, how fun.
And people came up with hilarious things. One of them said, "Oh, I heard bobcats out in the backwoods last night, and they were screaming and screaming." I said, "That was just me yelling at my husband." And we both had spotted jackets that we had brought, and one little kid was being a wise guy, and he goes, "What are those?" And I said, "Oh, those are our winter coats."
Did he tell you that bobcats aren't necessarily spotted?
I guess not. The babies.
Babies are.
Yeah.
Right.
And my costume had fewer spots, a little more vague stripes on it.
Uh-huh.
But we learned a lot of very interesting things about bobcats, so it was educational for us.
Did you learn anything about yourselves on that mountain in the middle of the night?
Yes, I think we were I was kind of worried because she was little.
Uh-huh.
And she was maybe, I don't know how old she was. Maybe she was 8 or something. I guess that's old enough, but I didn't know whether we'd freak out in the darkness because it was totally dark up there.
Wow.
And we were sitting on a little knoll somewhere. And, but we had a good time. We really had a good time. And we enjoyed talking to the groups that came up.
Mm-hmm.
Now we were down in Chincoteague, and we were on a marsh,
Uh-huh.
and fireflies were there. They were going already. It wasn't even very warm, you know. But we were surprised, and I've seen them a few times since we've been back.
Well, it seems to me that they're getting more and more sparse, and they're coming out a bit later every year.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the wrens and the black-capped chickadees were showing up earlier, at least at our house. And that was surprising to me. But with all of this changes in the weather patterns,
Yeah.
we didn't really have all that much snow this year, but we got some really, really cold weather.
Yeah.
We got some very late cold weather.
Yes.
We had a freeze the night before Mother's Day, which,
Yes.
you know,
And that week, I think there were a few.
yeah.
But
And the little old lady who lives next door had told us years ago not to plant our tomatoes or put anything in the ground or put any flowers out before Mother's Day, because that was when we knew that there'd be no more freezes. But I'm not sure we can rely on that quite so much.
So you got the freeze? You saw it?
Yes,
Oh,
we
my
had.
goodness.
I mean, it was right at 32, but it was still a veritable freeze.
Uh-huh. Now, some plants will take that, but like tomatoes, no way.
Right.
It gets close to freezing and they just give up. Goodbye.
Well, and I don't even bother planting basil until, July, June, July.
That's smart.
And
But like I had a lot of sunflowers come up
uh-huh.
On their own this year.
Volunteers?
Volunteers. I had like 12 of them. I was
Nice.
moving them. It was still freezing. They were fine. They didn't care. You wouldn't think so, but they were fine. And I usually plant poppies.
I love the
still
poppies.
cold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I take a lot of pleasure now in planting and watching things grow.
Yes.
Where I might not have had the patience years back. I might have just gone ahead and bought something already ready to go.
It's a different experience entirely, isn't it?
It is, very much so.
I learned a lot. I think I learned a lot from gardening
Like what?
when I was ready to learn it.
Uh-huh.
Oh, about nurturing things. I mean, and and also kind of hanging back and not, again, like allowing things to happen sometimes. You can't make every seed grow.
Right.
When you don't know this, it can be frustrating. You're like, what happened to these seeds? Well, whatever it was that they needed didn't happen.
Right.
And even if you water them every day, or maybe we watered them too much, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Look at this.
Well,
A little area here.
I
guess we're going around a corner. We're
going to go around a corner, but I think.
Look at the drop there.
Wow.
Woo!
Yeah, that's quite a little drop off.
That must be.
It looks like maybe there was some kind of a log bench there
Yes,
at some
maybe.
point.
Yeah.
We're not.
Oh, we're not.
Now we are.
Now we are.
Okay, so.
I may never get up again.
Ew! Didn't mean to moon anybody there, but
Dinner and a show.
I'll get there when I get there. Would you like some water?
I think I'm all right. Thanks.
Okay.
I don't want to give you anything that I might have.
Nah.
I've had all my shots, by the way. Rabies.
Okay. Distemper.
Distemper, yes.
Okay. Feline leukemia. I have some crackers.
Leukemia.
I have some cheese.
Yummy.
I have some. What do I have here? Dried apricots and
Love
some
them.
chocolate.
Whoa.
Would you care to partake?
Oh, certainly.
Okay. Oh, and I have some. Madeleines.
Madeleines.
They're lemon madeleines.
Didn't you get fancy?
Somebody put some fancy stuff in a bag and I pulled a couple out. So we'll put this right here on my handy dandy lap of a picnic table.
Now, folks, you don't have to have madeleines when you go walking in the woods.
Madeleines are not requisite, but sometimes it's actually really fun to bring just something that's just a little bit bougie.
Yeah.
Isn't that the word, bougie?
I think so. Yeah, bougie.
We used to call it Lux.
Lux.
Yes.
How Lux.
Used to call it Lux. But, would you like a clementine?
I'd love a clementine.
I'm going to have a clementine too. My darling clementine.
That sounds perfect. It's actually got a little juice there.
And it's a good thing to carry when you are hiking because, barring bringing any artificial electrolyte laden sports drink with you, this is the real thing.
The real electrolyte thing?
The real electrolyte thing.
And if you drop any of it?
Well, we don't actually leave our citrus peels and that sort of thing in the woods. You leave nothing but footprints.
Okay.
Believe it or not, even something as simple as a citrus peel, when it's not native to the area, can take a lot longer to degrade.
Ooh, I didn't know that.
And wildlife may eat it, not thinking anything of it. And since it's not native, it's not a native forage for them, it can make them actually pretty sick.
Oh,
And if there
That's
happen
good
to
to know.
be any fungal spores or anything on it from Florida or wherever these came from, I'll pack these right back up into my backpack in the little special trash pocket that I keep. A little trash pocket.
All right.
Then, you know, we don't want to be spreading plant diseases and that sort of thing, or contaminating the environment with foodstuffs that critters can't eat.
You don't want to attract alligators.
The deciduous forest. Deciduous forest, you know, it's so juicy. Deciduous forest alligator.
Yes.
Right.
Those guys, they climb trees, make nests. Okay. Okay.
But their biggest, their most feared enemy is the possum.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Why? Because it plays dead.
Well, because they're so small, they can sneak up on them.
Oh, yeah.
Or the alligator may tromp up on the possum, thinking it's dead, because possums play possum,
Right.
and it jumps up
And suddenly, there's a tiny little rodent jumping at
right.
you. Are they rodents?
Rodents
No,
of
they're
unusual size.
they're
No,
actually marsupials.
they are marsupials.
Yeah.
And the thing about possums is they eat ticks,
Oh.
and they eat
Bless their
ticks
hearts.
by the hundreds.
Oh, I need a possum.
And of course, you know, ticks are carrying more and more diseases that are highly communicable to humans and highly damaging. So,
Ticks scare the heck out of me.
well, I generally avoid chemicals at pretty much any cost, but when it comes to hiking in the woods, I will spray myself with a insect repellent, not an insecticide, because we just want to discourage them from biting us. But it is super important to.
Now I'm all paranoid, thinking, "Wow,
that's
is
why
my
we're sitting-
is my
That's why we're sitting on the jacket. The jacket actually has some tick repellent on it, so we should be really safe.
good, good." I've been
That's the other thing I always notice
delicious.
is my senses are always heightened when I'm out in the wilderness. Everything, it smells more aromatic. My sense of just space and what I hear,
Mm-hmm.
and my alertness to what I hear
Yeah.
and what I sense around me.
Do you think that's a survival thing?
I'm sure it
A
is.
primal survival, you know, you want to
I'm sure
be
it is.
aware if a bear is sneaking up or something.
Got to be aware of your surroundings. You've got to, know if there's danger. Is a tree gonna fall? Did you hear something crack? Was it just a deer stepping on a twig? Is it a mountain lion thundering up behind you very silently, because they do thunder silently? I can tell you that from experience.
I don't see anybody right now. Oh my gosh.
What a perfect way to cap off this little jaunt into the woods. I think it might be time to head back. What do you think?
All right.
All right. Thanks for joining me on the first half of my adventure with Bess. Next time, we'll make the return journey down the mountain, and we'll talk about perseverance. Really enjoyed having you today, and please hit your like and subscribe buttons. We'll see you next time. Bye.